Hello, there has been an exciting development, I should say a few exciting developments, in the Poppy Playtime prototype concept art saga in a way. Firstly, we theorised about the prototype's design, then we got the actual official reveal, now a lot of people redesign that. Then we got the stunning admission that the prototype's design actually changed after or around Poppy Playtime Chapter 3. Concept art and an early, likely the first concept art design for the prototype were revealed shortly after that. But it doesn't end there, we now have even more official concept art and original design documents of the prototype that have been officially revealed by Mob Entertainment and ex-employees, and I am going to look through those today. Before we begin, subscribe if you would like to, and I would love it if you did. I'm Kobister Plays, how you doing? So this first design is an interesting one, because I couldn't ascertain for the longest time if this was official or a fan design, and I very almost included this in one of my many prototype fan design videos, but it seems after countless hours of research, and least of all through the trademark, which I know can be easily replicated, it does seem as though this is an official concept art design for the prototype and was a legitimate consideration for what they could have looked like at some point. I don't mind it. It would have helped if we could have kind of seen the legs, because it would have been very interesting to see what exactly this design would have looked like around the spider legs. The copyright at the bottom says 2026, which leads me to believe that, they couldn't have not had a final design by 2026, right? Because that's when the game came out. That's when we saw the official prototype design. So again, something doesn't line up here. It's a very interesting kind of face, because I can't make out what it's meant to be. When you think of just the mask and the jester ear shaped by itself, it kind of looks like it has a goat head, or some kind of animal shaped head. I don't know if that's what they were going for. There's a ruff, and it's quite interesting, it's an old jester toy, it's an old Jack-in-the-Box toy, the official design, and it doesn't have a ruff. So I was always quite interested in seeing how much concept art and how many fan designs choose to give the prototype a ruff. It's an interesting one. Obviously, the arms are similar, so there is quite a bit here that's compatible with the final design. It's just really interesting that, maybe this could have been real at some point. I don't know if they've just updated a trademark and that's why it says 2026, but there is no way in hell that they were still brainstorming prototype concept art ideas this year, 2026, because the game came out in February. So I will not accept that for a second. We have another slightly lower quality picture of this one. Not too much is different, but it does look quite sinister. I do like how the eyes look on this one. They are quite Five Nights at Freddy's like, and that's fine. I love that as well. This picture is a bit of a tell as to how the character would have acted. Quite sinister, quite ominous. And let's go ahead and assume that there aren't spider legs in the area that this picture doesn't capture. Let's assume that rather than, siding with the official prototype design, this one just has human legs. I can imagine this design being 5-6 foot and being able to look the character in the eye, almost like a humanoid prototype design, which I have seen many fan designs of. This is a bit more like it. Megan Lotman is a concept artist who works for Mob Entertainment, and they've provided quite a lot of the documents that we're looking at today, including this. This is so interesting. This is very almost final, if not completely final. It's so interesting that I'm still kind of in shock a little bit that we have an official prototype design now. I'm just so used to people theorizing all of these wildly different ideas. So to see what went on behind the scenes now to make this thing real, it's crazy. It's so weird seeing the prototype without legs as well, it can just fly around on its own. It's so weird. It's so cool as well. I couldn't help noticing that one of the arms is different to the other. In the final design, they are just two prototype arms, right? So it must have been the official position that Mob Entertainment took. That the one arm that we would see building up and teasing the prototype for God knows how long, that was the only human-ish shaped arm that it had. And the other one was this other device. I do not know what that is. I assume it's some kind of Poppy guest thing maybe. Yeah, quite interesting. Oh, we have full-on schematics now. Reference sheet by Cillian model by Mob Entertainment. Reference sheet by Cillian model by Mob Entertainment. Okay, this is quite interesting. A lot of this does seem very final. I don't actually know. Yeah, in the end, it must have 6 legs, right? It can't have any more than that. It does have 6 legs, doesn't it? It's so interesting seeing the prototype quite literally in a brand new way like this. I just noticed, actually, that it has things sticking out of the back. Did it always have those? What are they? What would they actually be? I'm trying to think. If it was an actual Jack-in-the-Box toy, it wouldn't have had anything on the back. I don't know, it's quite interesting. Maybe it's evidence that it's like modified its own body or something. It's so interesting because you can't see these angles in normal gameplay. It's just, you know, it's changed so much and so little at the same time. This is the official first prototype fan design that was made around Chapter 1. I have spoken about this in a previous video, so you can see all about it in that one. But I do just want to, because it's been like a while since I've laid eyes on this one as well. I love it. So this was presumably like just a reject toy. So I assume, I don't know, it would have been quite strange because the prototype, I assume, because there's nothing to compare the size of this one to, they would have been around the same size as Poppy, and that's quite interesting. However, it is not threatening in the slightest. I want to know, because there are always more questions to be asked for something like this, I want to know how long this was a serious consideration for the prototype. And it's quite interesting actually, because we know that the prototype design changed, and like the official concept changed when there were some changes behind the scenes at Mob Entertainment as well after Chapter 3. I want to know if that impacted when they were going to reveal the prototype. Like, would they have done it in Chapter 4 a bit earlier? Would there have been like a reveal that Ollie is the prototype after Chapter 3? And how long was this design a legitimate consideration? Would we have been rolling up at the end of Chapter 2 and just seen this after the Mummy Longlegs chase? I don't know. It's quite fun to think about. This design, oh my god, this design is by Whitney, what's her name? Whitney Miller. Whitney Miller, she's a concept character design artist for Mob Entertainment, and she reposts Animation, the YouTube animation channel sometimes. Maybe she does something with them as well. Out of all of the videos I've made going over Poppy Playtime, this one design is the thing that I think has been commented the most. People asking me, why didn't you include this design? You went over some of the earliest concept art and you somehow missed this design. I like this one because it's very similar to some of the fan designs I've seen. Like the prototype is in a box and there's just like all of this cool shit just kind of like appearing and laying out the side and everything. This is so interesting. And like even over here, like the various stages that the hands went through. Or maybe it would have had two completely different hands that are at odds with each other. I really don't know. I like how, with this one, at the very least, like the arms seem a little less bony and organic. Almost like they're screwed onto the side and then screwed on at like the elbow as well. And I don't know, that's cool. Okay, this design is cool, but it also raises a lot more questions than it answers. Like, for example, when was this character designed? Because I've seen this picture reposted so much, and there is so much misinformation going around. I can't ascertain exactly when this concept art design was posted, or revealed, or considered. So there's that. I love the teeth on this one as well, and I love how the eyes are different. Is it crying? I don't even see that. Poor guy's crying, that's such a shame. For as cool as this design is, how would it move? I have quite a few questions, and the first one that comes to mind is, how the hell does this thing move? I like to imagine that the way it went behind the scenes, and I could be completely wrong, this is all speculation, is that a concept art design like this was made. And then they were like, no, we're going to rethink the prototype, we're going to make it bigger, we're going to make it scarier. And the box design, the Jack-in-the-Box design, was then reused and became Boxy Boo. I think that would have been, you know, quite interesting if the prototype was a Jack-in-the-Box toy before Boxy Boo. That would have been quite cool. And, you know, chronologically that makes sense as well. Canonically, Boxy Boo was the first experiment to turn a human into a toy. They would have been around at the same time as the prototype. I guess Boxy was the first successful one. I'll say that. So this is quite a good one. This is the, you know, very close to the arm that we ended up getting. I love what's going on around here. Almost like instead of veins and muscles, it's like a weird goopy kind of poppy gel material, is it? Not too much more to say on this one, honestly. It is just an arm. Whoa, look at that, another arm. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. This one's very similar to the final design we got as well. I think the fingers might look a little different. Maybe I just haven't looked at the arm close up this long. These also look much more rusted, is what I will say. Much more rusted than the final design. That's new. So the arms were gonna look different. I do think maybe on the final design, the hands and arms could look like the tiniest bit different, but nothing like this. I see so many fan designs, redesigns, that make the prototype's arms completely different. Some of them have detachable hands, some of them, you know, they have all kinds of things. And, you know, this lends itself to that idea. You know, so many concept art designs and fan designs and redesigns, they were original official Mob Entertainment ideas that went through their head at one point, and it's so interesting to see what made the cut and what didn't. This would have been harmless. I would have loved like 2 separate hands on the prototype, almost like it has its own grab pack. It's quite an interesting concept. I hadn't thought of that before. Oh, this is a nice one. Now, this looks more like a 2026 prototype document. God, look at that. The hands. They look so strange. Oh, that's an interesting one. Actually, this... Oh, wow. Okay, well, there are more differences in this than I thought at first. Firstly, there are the 2 Mummy Longlegs arms, and they're reaching out from under the rib cage. What a fantastic idea that is. Then you have not 1 but 2 Huggy arms. Maybe one would be Kissy, one would be Huggy. Even then, there are more arms and more pieces of other toys in this one than the official design. Also, there are heads like falling down as well. That's like so cool. Like, I assume that maybe Bunzo and one of the smiling critters, or maybe they're both smiling critters, I don't know. You can see like there's so much more of Catnap's fur along the body as well. It's a bit more robotic, there are more wires and everything, and then at the back there's like this giant generator. I assume that that's relating to a poppy gas or poppy gel or something like that. Yeah, I like this. I don't know if I actually prefer this one over the official design. I like the mask as well. It's so smiley, so happy. So, you're telling me that one of the last decisions that they would have made in the timeline of creating Poppy Playtime Chapter 5 was giving the prototype 1 less arm, giving him 1 mummy arm instead of 2, and also like getting rid of the additional heads. You know, all of this, I don't know the slightest thing about programming. Maybe the prototype was a nightmare to like integrate into the game, and I can see why. We know so many of their concept ideas, right? To give the prototype a grab pack, to do all kinds of things so it could fly around when you're trying to fight it. That would be a nightmare to program. Especially like, we don't know what the time crunch is like in Mob Entertainment either, but it's a slightly different topic. So I'm going to assume that any changes that they would have made quite literally last minute, such as like the little tweaks they made to this design, were just to make things easier for themselves, and I totally understand that. Those are all of the additional official prototype concept art documents that we have to look through today. Isn't it so interesting to get like a peek behind the curtain, a little look behind the scenes at something like this? I don't know, I like it. That's all from me, I'm the Kirbyster sub by